right, you on? You alive?
Hey, greetings, Instagram family.
No one's here yet.
Well, greetings, Instagram family.
Okay.
Anyway, I want to first
Yes,
say,
you
I want you guys to be aware of what's going on with folks taking and using the site that I have and acting like that's me. Well, I'm going to tell you guys this, and you can use this for sure. I do not do readings. So if somebody DM you talking about, I want to do your reading and it's from my page, you know that's false, because I don't do it. All right? Not that I have anything against it, I just don't do it.
And even following people, like, the mass, like, following people, and, that's...
So, be aware. I just want y'all to be aware so you'll know it's not me. Anyway, we're going to get back to what we was talking about, and that's getting rid of your personal inventory. Because we never finished that. We just got to a point to where we had to stop.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why I feel like this is really important is because I know it helped my life. A lot of the things that I understand wasn't reality until I started applying those things. Once applied, then the results is all expedited. So I'm just saying, these little methods I'm giving you, use them. I mean, they can't hurt, that's for sure. And I want to make a correction too about one of the things that I said last week as far as creating your inventory, is that instead of starting from your furthest memory, start from your closest memory and work your way back. Because that way, the closest memory you have a contact with individuals is fresh. So I want you to keep that fresh. So start from the last encounter you had and work your way back. Greetings, everybody.
Hello.
We have some new folks here.
We looked on Tuesday. We couldn't find it. We asked everybody. Nobody knew. So
Nobody knew where we were Tuesday.
We was here.
Yeah.
We meet here every Tuesday and Thursday.
Tuesday
That's
and
what
Thursday.
we were told.
After the fact, right?
Yeah.
Well, it's okay. You're here now.
Yeah.
And it's a
Yes,
pleasure
it's
to
totally
have you.
okay because we're recording as well.
Oh, okay.
So yes, do your
So what's your
thing.
name, bro?
Alex?
Alex?
Yes.
Alex.
Pleasure.
Alex and Georgie.
Yes.
Nice to
Where
meet
you
you
guys
all.
from?
Miami.
Miami, cool. I love Miami.
I'm Aja.
That's my wife, Aja, and I'm Asami. Dr. Sebi, oldest son. I'm junior, basically. So I do these little talks with everybody to give y'all a break from just the regular stuff y'all do around here, like eating and swimming and whatever you do. I just want to break it up and help you guys get more clarity about some things. Greetings. What's your name, young lady?
Falake.
Falaka, it's a pleasure.
Falake.
Falake. All right, I got you. You enjoy that thermal water?
Oh, yeah.
Hey, that water, I'm going to say this. That is healing water. That water heals your body. It nourishes your body while you're in it.
Mm-hmm.
I love that water. I know that water. I know what it do because I've been getting in it often. So it makes a difference.
And our skin is our largest organ. So once you get in there, you just sucking it up. Just
all the minerals is full of sulfur.
Yes.
And it's all natural because it's coming straight out the ground. Hot. So best hot bath you can get.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, getting back.
Mm-hmm.
I want you guys to start from your closest memory, your last memory, and work your way back on the list I had explained to everybody. It's essential when you're trying to change yourself into, you can say, a better version of yourself. Is to get rid of your personal inventory. And what is your personal inventory? Your personal inventory basically is everything that you have accumulated in your life that we operate from. So I gave a method in order to alleviate that. The pressure of that is to go through every encounter that you have had that you can remember and re-engage that encounter. And what that does, we forget that we're not just, come on, bro. You want to sit down?
Yeah, come on around. We see you. You did not sneak in.
I saw cameras. I didn't want to move.
Hey, that's okay, bro.
Did not sneak in.
I don't want to block it. Block me anyway. That's all.
You ain't blocking that, bro.
No, not
They
at
can
all.
hear
Okay.
Not at all.
Yeah, well, what happens is that we forget that we're not just physical entities. We're energetic entities too, just like they have a lot of energetic plants that you touch, they respond. We are energetic. Our heart beats, that's energy. Our kidneys move, that's energy. Our pancreas, everything is moving. So when we encounter people, that energy is when you walk up on somebody, your field is the length of your arms outward. So then when they get just that far from you, there's an energy exchange. And what happens is that we don't realize through the course of our lives, the encounters that we have had on an energetic level, not just on our physical categorizing everything, daily life. When that energy is exchanged, the only way to get that energy back is to go back and re-experience and bring that energy back to you. Because those encounters that was brief, yet they take energy, they make an energy exchange. That's why the list is so important. The list helped you to, what ancients call was recapitulate. That means you bringing that event back to you so that you can gain the energy back from that. Because we have spent a lot of our energy in a lot of exchanges without even being aware of what we was doing. And that goes for everybody. Our mothers, fathers, kids, everybody. Your doctor, your friends you work with, I don't care who it is. It's an energy exchange. So I want you guys to start. Have anybody even started trying to make the list yet, first of all? Nobody. See what I'm saying? See what I'm saying?
You know, that was my first time hearing you talk about it, so I started in my mind. No, what I'm saying is I started in my mind, but I actually did not put pen to paper and start writing it down. I've started from, I was thinking from birth, like my earliest memories.
I'm glad that you didn't start it, so you can start from your last exchange, which would be the individuals that's right here, right now. Mm-hmm. Because as we go through our life, we are always engaging people. That's why I try to stay over there on the other side of that wall right there, because I don't need to be engaging that much. I understand how precious our energy is, because that's the same energy that boosts us to a higher level of consciousness. And this life is dedicated to expanding my consciousness and my awareness, because to me, that's everything. Because we need that for being here and for moving on into a higher energetic realm, because we're all going to leave this place. And if you leave this place without ever touching that part of yourself and expanding enough to have the energy to explore outside of what you consider your world, your everyday existence, you're going to come back. I'm not coming back. I knew that from a little child, that I was not going to come back to this earth for another round of this. This is my last trip, so enjoy it. I'm enjoying it, so I'm just letting everybody know enjoy it, because when I'm gone, I ain't coming back. That part that they call this expression, this earthly expression, I'm not coming back, because I have experienced what the earth has to give me, and I'm still experiencing it. That's why I know I'm not going to have to come back. Because it's not about how society have dictated we live our life. The Spirit taught me how to live my life according to how the universe flows around us. So, here I am.
I don't know if anybody else has anything to say. Can we talk about this word spirit?
Sure,
and when I'm asking you.
We can talk about it, because what it is a lot of people, when I say spirit, they think of, all right, spirits out there. They think about, God or the Holy Ghost. When I say spirit, I'm talking about the spirit that resides in each and every one of us. And that's what we have labeled. See, we keep giving labels, so I have to use the label so people can understand. What that really is our conscious awareness, that ball of energy that animates this body. This body is just a vehicle for who we really are. And that part of us that we really are, we totally disconnect with. Why? Because society says that you need to acclimate yourself to the societal norms. Yes, Aja.
And so if I'm religious, if I'm Christian, if I'm Muslim,
it's all the same.
Whatever. So how can I reconcile still being, because we're not asking anybody to change religions, right?
No, we're not
want
asking
them to
understand. All we asking folks to do is change yourself.
Yeah.
And in the context of all the religions, they all say the same thing. Where do everything start? Inside of you. Why do it start inside of you? Because all texts have to say that God has put himself in all of us. We all have a piece of God in us. And that piece of God that's in us is what I always refer to as the spirit. It's not outside there. It's everywhere, and yet it's in you to guide you. It's a personal experience. We come here on a personal journey, and we forget that our journey is not dependent on what nobody else do but us. We can say, oh, well, I was my mother. Oh, my father didn't teach me nothing. All my sisters and brothers, they ate up all the food when I was young, so I have this thing about whenever I see food, I gotta eat. All those things are lies that we tell ourselves. They just lies we tell ourselves. When we start telling ourselves, oh, I have the power to do anything. Why lie to yourself on the low side? You're going to lie to yourself. Lie to yourself on the high side. Say, man, one day I'm going to be able to fly over mountains. I'm going to be able to do the impossible. Why not? Why always think of ourselves as less than? When we part of the universe, we represent everything that this universe we live in represent. Go ahead, Audrey.
Isn't it a front to one's beliefs or religious beliefs? Because, at a certain point, we can't, bring people. Is it a front to believe what you're saying and the self-belief?
Really. When you really understand with the scripture that they're whatever knowledge base they're using, all of them come back to the same thing. Love thine own self. To love yourself is to acknowledge that yourself is not just this physical body. It's everything that we are. We're this physical body, yet we're this energetic spirit that lives in us that's connected to everything. That spirit, everything. And when I say everything, I mean absolutely everything, bar nothing. So then we have to deal with understanding that, all right, I'm a part of everything, yet I don't feel like I'm a part. What do I need to do to change? How do I get to that place where I can feel like I can be who I am? Start with that list I gave you. Because what that list is going to do, is going to allow you to draw energy back. We waste a lot of energy on nonsense. I'm going to say that right now. The Toltecs used to call one of the path that they was on, that you reach a point of what you call impeccability. Impeccability to them was understanding the right use of energy. The right use of energy so that none was wasted, so all of it was pooled together so that you can reach the heights of your own self, or your own being. It never dealt with anything outside of you. It always dealt with everything inside of you, because who do we deal with? We deal with ourselves. I don't care what the situation is, it always comes down to how you going to handle it. You can handle it like you always did and get the same results, or you can stop and go, you know what? I don't really know what to do with the situation. Then ask yourself, how should I respond? All it takes is 1 second pause. But we don't even give ourselves a second pause. As soon as somebody says something, we running off. What you say? I know you're not talking. I mean, it's immediate. Why? Because it's a reflex. that reflects we have to change. Go ahead, Ozzy. You always have something to ask.
No, I don't have anything to ask, but I did want to add that if you this is not a talking to, it's a discussion, and so it promotes, because I know as I'm hearing him talk, I'm like, I have things I'd like to, him to elaborate on, and I know you all do too. So I just wanted to let you know it's an open forum. If you want to, jump in there as I have been, then please, do so.
I just want to know, I wasn't here on Tuesday. You mentioned a list that you gave.
Yes.
It's so good because everybody on Instagram was like, what is this list? Like, we want to know about the list. So, yes,
What I asked everybody to do was create a list of all the people, bar none, that you have had interaction with, and start writing those names down on a piece of paper, on your phone, however you want to put them down. But once you start creating this list, I want you to start from your closest memory to your furthest. And once that list is completed, then you go back to that list and you start and you look at any person on that list, the beginning of that list, and then you think about your encounter. And when you think about that encounter, I want you to just try to remember one object that you could remember during that encounter, and that encounter will come back to you. That's the only way you can draw energy back from that encounter. Or that encounter becomes like
that is if you want that encounter back in your life.
Well, what happens is this. It's even if we don't really say that we want it, it's there. Why? Because as we begin to write, we begin to remember.
Right.
And as we remember, those events come back to us, and when they do, then we're able to gain that energy back instead of it always being a drain on us. Because there's memories that we don't want to remember, that we feel is painful. Those are the memories that do the most damage in us. And the only way to overcome them memories is to release them, to recognize it, draw the energy back from them, and let it go.
Also, as you're doing it, like, I know this is going to happen, I haven't done the list yet, is like, as you write, it's like, because why do you remember certain people in an encounter, right? Like, you'll go in a room and you're drawn to certain people. There'll be certain conversations that you're drawn to on a train or a bus or at work, or, certain people you speak to, so others you don't. So these are encounters that really we are drawn to ourselves. So then what is it that we should learn from it, and what energy we can take back?
Exactly. And it's not just writing the list. Once this list is done, when you're going back over this list, sit someplace quiet where you're not being disturbed, you're not listening to music, you're not looking at TV. And you just take breaths. As you look at the names, just breathe in and exhale. And breathe in and exhale. And them events, the ancients call that recapitulation. What that does is through our breath, we draw that memory back. Hey, like I said before, we are magical beings. We have relegated ourselves down to being these weak humans that we always complain about our weaknesses, and we forget about all of our strengths.
I actually was just adjusting my glasses, but great time to pause and ask this. So I really because I want to reiterate what she asked, and for you to elaborate more, like, what if you don't want this experience back? Like a rape, like a bad marriage, like, I don't know, a child being taken away from you. I mean, the list can go on and on.
I understand what she's saying. I really do. And the thing is this, is that those things that we say we don't want, that has already happened. We may not want to bring the memory of that back, but that memory still lives inside of you. And that memory holds cachets of energy inside of you, that every time you remember it, you have a certain feeling or emotion that goes behind that very thing. And that's what depletes us. And that's why it's so important to make this list and be unbending about going through it. I mean, I'm not saying you have to go through it in a day, a week, a month, a year. Make the list. I don't know how long it's going to take you to make the list, but once it's made, be cognizant of at least going through it at least once a week. At least. We're not that busy.
Would that list include people who are deceased?
It includes everybody we had contact with, yes.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone. Because they was alive when you met them. They're deceased now. But they was alive when you met them. And a certain energy was exchanged.
So the point of it all is to attract positive energy.
Yes, your energy.
And the positive energy, how is that going to help me?
Well, what that energy does is it helps you on the conscious level. See, we think of everything on a physical level. On a purely energetic level, every encounter we have takes energy from us. It's an exchange of energy. And if it's somebody who's not at a place where they can give energy back to you and on the same level you're exchanging, then that energy goes to them and their energy attaches to you, and you go about your business and you don't even feel like, oh, it was anything that really transpired. But on an energetic level, a lot transpired. That's the thing that we have been negating as far as our physical expression on this planet. We forget that we're not just physical. The earth is not just physical.
And I think underlying of the point is that the energy shouldn't be negative or positive. You should be able to have the experience and let it go and let it be an experience. And don't attach yourself to like, oh, this hurt me, this da 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 da. I mean, and I can give so many examples where two people who have gone through the same, very similar experience, and it affected the two people differently because of how they viewed the experience and what it did to them. Well, this has a hold on me and I'll never be able to love again. My mother died and now, nothing is ever the same in the world. Or I had a child that died and now I don't experience love. I'll never experience love again. Well, then you're sentencing yourself, right? So then it's important to go back into those experiences, unsentence yourself, and just let it be an experience.
That's all it all is. It's all experiences. And our experiences is what make up the totality of what we call ourselves right now. You didn't get to this point without all the experiences that you have had. Yet, be it what you may want to call good or bad, they still experiences that came into our life to teach us, to move us along the path that we come here to be on. So when we begin to categorize everything as we are taught, then we take the mystery out of everything and the mystery out of our own selves. We are a mystical being. That's why this whole thing I'm doing is about human beingness. Understand how to be human. Being human is not just a physical thing. That's human is part of the physical. Being is part of who we are. When you ask somebody who are you, they say, I am. I am what I am. Why? Because I can't identify with nothing but everything. Because we are part of everything. This is our expression. We come here to engage and enjoy all the creation that's around us, and yet we bog ourselves down with the dumbest things that we call important. This is important, that ain't. This is important, that ain't. Then we live our life in these categories all the time where we come here to really be free. Free to express yourself. No matter who don't like it or no matter who like it. The only important thing is that you are expressing yourself under the terms that you decided to come here and express yourself under. And how do you find out what them terms is? Getting back in touch with yourself. How do you do that? That's what this list is a part of. It's just one small part of a huge puzzle. But where do we start? We got to start somewhere. We have to begin to understand that this is not some, it's like when a male child is born and no one tells him what it is to become a man or to be a man or to have that male expression, then whatever he learns, he thinks that's being a man. When he see other men doing things, he see that, oh, that's what being a man is. Being a man could be to him working on a car, getting greasy every day because that's what he saw. Or being a man to him could be the very opposite. Somebody standing on the corner selling women, calling themselves a pimp. Or, on the other hand, it could be somebody who say, hey man, for me to be the man that I want to be, I have to become the greatest scientist there is. And people pursue what they think that other folks think they should be. But it's not that. We all come here with a defined journey. And nothing is written in stone. So it's like the water that moves through the river. It fluctuates, it moves, it goes up, it goes down, it turns. It is always fluid. Our lives, we must teach ourselves how to be fluid and not be so rigid with everything, because our teaching makes us rigid. And the teaching that makes us rigid is the teaching that folks defend with their own very life. They will be ready to. Some folks have wanted to just box with me over what they believe, and that's how I know how deep that goes, when you're willing to risk getting your ass kicked behind something that you believe. I mean, real. I'm not saying I'm the toughest guy, but I know when I stand and speak, I speak what the Spirit has me to speak to an individual, and if they don't like it, I am well equipped to defend myself, so then I can speak the truth without fear. Why? Because I'm not afraid of anything. Why should I be? Of any man, any animal. Why? Where do fear come from? What is that? That comes from our own personal inventory. The things that we say, oh, this thing could take my life. Anything could take your life. It don't take no big event. They got mosquitoes that could take your life. A mosquito, a little bitty thing like that, could take your life. One bite. Just for them feeding on you. So to be worried about what's going to take your life is to walk around limiting yourself all the time. To be free is to understand that you live your life how you have been taught to live it. And as you're taught to live life, as you come and start wanting to understand who you really are, everything that you need comes to you. Nobody is exempt to that. Everybody gets exactly what they seek after. So when you're seeking after understanding who you are, you're seeking after really understanding how to love yourself, then every tool you need is going to come to you. We have to have confidence in the life that we have come here to live. We forget because they give us all these rules and tell us all these can do's, don't do's. And we forget that, hey, nobody came here with me to make the choices that I need to make for my life. Only you can make that choice for your life. I mean, I've listened to folks tell me that the doctors have gave them so long to live, and they decided to change the way that they was living, and they still alive. And that's been like 15 years ago. But if they believe what somebody else tell them about their life and they really accept that, that becomes their reality. But when you don't accept that, it's not your reality. Poverty is not something that's forced on anybody. It's a way of thinking. And we have to change our way of thinking in order to become the beings that we come here to be. Especially us. We have the highest carbon content in our body. The darker your skin, the higher the carbon content. What does that mean? That means the higher the electricity that's flowing through your body. That means the faster your brain is going to click. So when we don't get it, then we are really tripping, because we supposed to be the examples for everybody else. And we ain't giving a good example right now, and I'm going to say that. We're not being a good example. Because we keep relegating everything to somebody else. Well, they wouldn't have did us like this. We hadn't had to go through this. No. We are who we are right now and forever. If you be in the totality of which the universe put you here to be. But if you being something that somebody told you are, you coming back, don't worry. That's a fact. You don't have to even question that. So, again, it's up to us. And I'm just trying to give little tools. There ain't no magic thing for us to do to write a list and to really start considering all the things that have got us to where we are. When I was telling you guys this, and I went back to the house, and I'm sitting there going, I'm telling them to write the list. I need to write a list too. Because the last time I wrote a list, I was like 35 years old. I'm 64 years old now. I'll be 65 this year. It's time for me to write another list too. So, and I need that because of all the encounters that I've had during the last 35 years. It's been a lot. A lot. When I tell you a lot, I mean a lot. And not all have been what one would call beneficial, and at the same time, they're all beneficial. Why? Because if it wasn't beneficial, you would not have encountered it, and nothing comes to destroy us. Everything comes to us to strengthen us. Is that society have created a bunch of weak people. Weak. People are weak. Why? Because we like to undergird our weaknesses instead of getting rid of our weaknesses, or take them weaknesses and turn them into strengths.
I think it's more like we lack tools. We really are and have been like shuttled into a bunch of systems and things. We have not been taught to explore our strengths. I mean, many people don't know anything about meditating. We don't eat right, air quality, water quality. I mean, like we gotta look at like social
there's
norms.
A massive amount of obstacles. I agree with you, RJ. It is a massive amount. And that's the reason why I'm sitting here saying this right now. Because everybody who have an ear to hear, they're gonna hear. Those that's not supposed to hear won't be here. Period. And until we accept reality, then reality keeps escaping us. We can only deal with what is right now in this moment. And what happens in this moment, I may reach somebody that may go out and tell 100 billion people. I don't know. As long as I do my part and share the knowledge that I have, that I know could help others, because it helped me. Simple. And what the universe does with that, hey, I have no idea. My mind can't even contemplate. Because when I think of the guy who gave me the book that started me on this journey, I was 18 years old. But in reading that book, it made me want to be on a path that was going to give me knowledge and wisdom to live my life right, because that's what they was teaching. And so that started transforming my life. It didn't do it immediately. I still went through hell. Was creating it for myself. Yeah, and then when I finally realized that I was the creator of all this hell that I was experiencing, the hell ceased to exist. It ceased to exist. Why? Because I had to acknowledge that it wasn't no outside forces creating this. It was me creating this. When I already had the knowledge how to not create it, I still did it. But here I am. 40-something years later, I don't know. And still working on myself vigorously. I haven't stopped yet. I feel a greater calm, a greater confidence, and a greater understanding as the direction that this journey is taking me. So I'm comfortable with the journey. I'm not apprehensive about anything. I accept what happens. Why? Because it happened. Simple. When we do that and we deal with reality as it presents itself, we don't have to say if or shoulda or coulda. Those words don't exist. That's negating reality for something that didn't happen. But when we deal with what's happening, how we engage that can give us a wealth of knowledge, and it gives us energy back. We ain't depleting ourselves. Every time we cower from what we know inside we need to do, we get depleted, and you feel it. You're sitting there going, man, didn't stand up. Why we didn't stand up is out of fear. Out of fear what other folks might think about what we say. Because sometimes the things that we need to say is not always pleasant that the universe give us to speak to folks who we say we love. And we go, no, I can't tell them that. They might not ever talk to me again. No, what's really happened, they may get pissed off at you at that moment. But because you did exactly what your inner man told you to do and you spoke that word to them, they got angry, but they're going to come back and say, you know what, thank you, that helped me. Why? Because you had to speak it to them, even though they didn't like it when it was spoken to them. We got to get past our idea of how we think other folks feel. We don't know. We're not inside, and we don't know how we feel. We don't know how nobody else feels. People talk about empathy. Stop it. You can't know how nobody else feels until you become them. And the only way you can become them is to become you, and then you become one with everything. And when you do that, then you don't care about how they feel. Go ahead, Aja. I know you guys understand.
No, I actually didn't have a word to say. You didn't see me move, did y'all? I was minding my business. Yeah, but I would, like to, jump in there because you'd be like, like somebody would almost be interrupting you if they were to stop and ask a question. I want
people to understand. That's why I'm here. I talk a lot because I experienced a lot. I don't know nothing. I'm experiencing all this just like everybody else. But in my experience, I have found tools to help me to become a better human being than I was 5 years ago. I ain't going to even talk about 20 or 30 years ago. I'm talking about last year. I've changed from last year to this year. Why? Because it's a constant evolution of who we are. And if we don't allow ourselves to grow, then we forever remain with the same woes that we always remain with. And what happens as we hold all that stuff inside of us, we start breaking down our organs. We start getting headaches. We get depressed. We do all kind of crazy things to ourselves behind what? Emotions that we don't want to let go. Let it go. I preach freedom. That's I'm gonna start a church. I'm gonna call it the Freedom Church.
He ain't lying either. He gonna do it.
I'm coming to that church.
Why? Because it's about freedom. It's about us understanding that we're free to express ourselves, man. I mean, look at these trees. Nobody has to tell these trees when the fruit, when the flower. They do it because that's what they do. Why do we need folks to tell us when the fruit and when the flower? Why? We know when we know when we're flowering and we know when we're fruiting. How do we know that? Because we can feel it inside and we feel it coming out, and we see those who see the fruit come and partake from the fruit, and those who smell the flowers. Oh, it's always a nice aroma. So when you come around, they go, "Oh, I'm so glad to see you," and it's genuine. Why? Because you genuinely putting out energy that is the energy of love that is part of this whole thing that we live. Those fruit bear fruit because of love to give to us. Everything is giving. We have to learn to be giving, man. We have to learn to be giving. Because we don't own nothing. We are all here sharing space. The earth is a big ass space to share. There's room for everybody. And enough for everybody. I don't know where to get this idea of black from. That's the most corrupt idea human beings have ever thought of. When you look around you, how could there be lack? Look at this. And this just a little small corner. The earth is full of abundance. So where did the thought of lack come from? When you confine yourself to a little city and you trust everything that city represents, gas, food, electricity, everything, we trust it. And yet, life says, I've given you all this, and you confine yourself to this. We forget that we make choices. We confine ourselves to those things. And then they tell us we don't have a choice. We always have a choice. We always have a choice. So I say, choose freedom. Don't be afraid to choose freedom. Freedom is scary sometimes to think that, to be free. But to be in bondage is even more scary. I say. We fought all our lives as black people to get out of slavery. That was straight bondage. And when we got free, oh man, look at us. We don't have to worry about, oh, am I going to get taken away? Somebody going to come snatch me up? Same thing applies to our everyday life. To be free means to be free to express yourself. Not to be bound by somebody else's idea of you, or their thought of you, or their opinion of you. But just to simply be as those that have knowledge say, I am that I am. You can put me in a box if you want to. I'm not going to fit there. Because I'm constantly evolving. I may be a triangle one day and a square the next. A circle the next day. You never know. We got to leave ourselves open to express ourselves. That's all I'm saying. So the list. The list, this is the last time I'm going to talk about this list, so y'all better get it, is important. It's the list of your personal inventory. And that personal inventory derives from what? People, encounters, emotions. All of it is connected. So as you deal with that and you bring that energy back to yourself, you're going to see a big difference. I don't know how long it's going to take you to do it. But I can guarantee you one thing. If you do it, you're going to see results. It's not something that, it's not instant. Nothing is instant. It didn't instantly happen. The course of your life wasn't instant. It was a process. So the process of bringing it all back, it's going to be a process. But do that for yourself. And you're going to find your freedom in that part. Because, again, we've been trapped in so many little compartments within ourselves. We create compartments within ourselves with every event that goes on in our life. And we compartmentalize it and we build a little room for it and then we shut the door. And then we go to the next event. And we do that throughout our lives, so we got all these shut doors. That's why I tell folks, the earth gave us stuff like peyote, iboga bark, mushrooms, ayahuasca. To do what? To open our consciousness up, to loosen us from this body. We get so body-oriented that we forget that this is a vehicle. Once we understand that this is just a housing, this is our temple, something that we should care for, we should keep clean, we should keep mobile, then life becomes easy breezy, like this breeze we feel. Don't that feel good? Imagine your life feeling just like that breeze right now. That's how our life's supposed to be. Easy breezy. How much time, babe?
Quarter up.
Oh, good. Open it up for questions.
So most of my question was about, like, when we dream, does our spirit like come out and tells us something that we don't know?
Our dreams, I'm gonna say this. Our dreams come from our everyday living, but dreams are something totally different than our everyday living because we've never been taught about that either. That's why I'm gonna start doing classes eventually, because dreams are a powerful part of our life. What is it? It's our other body. We have what the ancients call a dreaming body. Those things you experience when you're in dreaming is all random and crazy because we haven't learned how to take this everyday conscious that we're using right now to communicate with one another and put that same amount of consciousness into our dream body. So our dreams become vague. Some of them become real, so real, where you be like, man, that dream last night was so real. That's when more of your consciousness has went into your dream body. And that happens periodically. But that can be something sustained because that's our other body. It's a body.
A way to kind of, because we always asking questions, we always want to know answers, and everything is within, right? So if you're asking questions, like, you should be journaling those dreams. Like, as soon as you wake up, if you wake up in the middle of the night, jot down what you remember. And then you'll begin to see, like, as you write over time and just read over that, you'll begin to see patterns and be like, oh, it was like, well, every time I'm at the bottom of a hill, I can't go up. Or every time, you know what I mean? You'll start to see the answers to what you're looking for.
So, like, if someone says, like, people don't, like, if one people say they don't dream about it, what's...
They just don't remember.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Because
You gotta be more intentional about
your
it.
dream body is another body.
Yeah.
When somebody say they don't dream, that means they have taken the totality of everything that they consciousness represent and put it just sunk into their physical body and don't give none of it to their other body. When it's supposed to be a even exchange between the both. But we're not taught that. We're not taught that our dreaming, when we dream at night, that's a whole nother body. When our physical body battery runs down, you go throughout your day. You're doing your everyday thing. This body lays down. Once this body lays down and goes into this REM state, your energy body wakes up. Now it's fully energized. It's always energized, but now it gets time because in our waking state we give it nada. So when it wakes up, it's like, wow, boom, off it goes into whatever place it decides to go. Our dream body goes into other worlds, other realities. It's not limited to none of the things that your physical body is limited to. That's why the ancients learned to use their dream body to explore other realms, explore things they want to explore right here on this earth. But when we're not conscious of that, then it's just like having money in the bank and not having a bank card to get it out.
So, like, how can they, like, get to go in the state?
That takes training.
Training. I also think like you can, kind of induce it like with teas and things like that. Knock yourself out.
Part of your brother tell you his journey. His journey helps you.
You're putting them on blast.
Back into yourself. And those plants are power plants. They're designed to jar us and bring us back into a state where we understand, yes, this is not just part of who I am, because they knock you right out your body. But the thing with that is that they teach us that, hey, they just help us to understand that there's greater parts of us than what we are realizing at the moment. Mm-hmm. We're not just confined to this. People like giving all kinds of titles and classifications and all. I don't do that, man. It's just what it is. What I've discovered, I share. I can't share what I don't know. But that I know. I know that that body is a body. Not like this physical body. It's energy. But it's conscious, just like that's what gives this body consciousness. Our consciousness is one. We share with the both bodies. And yet, there's a higher part of us that understand that both of these is just expressions of this one beingness. The oneness of who we are. That's why they say, oh, Father, Son, oh, Holy Ghost, or the Trinity. They got all kind of terms for the three parts of who we are. Mm-hmm. But it all represents who we are. We got a physical expression, we got an energetic expression, and then we got the totality of our conscious awareness. That's who we are. Okay. Did that help you?
Yeah.
Good. Anybody else?
No.
Well, that's good. I'm finished. I'm done. I get the whole weekend to chill out now. Hey, but I enjoy y'all. I enjoy coming down here and sharing with y'all because, me and her sit and talk about these things all the time as well. It's not like there's something I just come talk about. No, we discuss these things because this is, like I said, this is the driving force of my life. So I express it in everything. And I love it. I love it, man. And being here have just like the icing on the cake. Because I was living in Baltimore. I was living in L.A. I've been living in D.C. for the last, since Pops passed in 2016. I left Hawaii. I was living in Hawaii on the Big Island, living off grid, living in yurts, and I was living raw. I loved it. And then when he passed, I had to come back to the States. And I didn't come here until 2021, so 2020 or 2021?
20.
2020. I came back after 21 years of not being here. So coming back here, like that breeze you feel right now. Easy breezy, man. I love it. You hear me? I wake up every morning feeling good. I don't wake up worrying about a thing because the spirit knew. One of our friends told me and Aja one day, we was in Atlanta. He lived in Atlanta. He said, hey man, we was telling him, yeah man, we got our garden in Baltimore and we got everything all set up. And he looked at us like, hey, y'all crazy. We was like, what you talking about, man? Why are you guys putting yourself in that situation? Because we live right in the middle of the hood. There would be folks getting killed on this side of the block. And
The wire.
3 hours later, somebody else getting killed on that side. And we sitting in the middle of all that. We would sit out there until 2, 3 in the morning. Folks would come, just walk up drunk. I mean, it was an experience. But we represented what life could be, not what life they was living. Because we was growing food, we was always there. We would help them out. So we was showing them this don't have to be your life. Yeah. And they would come over there and express, oh, this is the most peaceful place in the whole neighborhood. Of course it is, because it was our energy being expressed in a place where at that point it didn't exist. We didn't operate in fear. We didn't have plenty of experiences where folks come up loud, talking, yelling, and all kind of stuff. And I always say the same thing. I hope you have enough smarts to understand the spirit will unleash some shit on you. For your own good, keep it stepping. Yes.
I am here. My question to you, I understand the list as it comes to energy and all that, but I need to know from your perspective, from your experience here, what are some of the ways that we are able to deal with stress in our life? Because we all live with stress. It's difficult, and I know there's an herb for everything except stress. So
yes, you're absolutely right. Stress is something, let me say this. When we allow emotions outside of ourselves to come in and deal with our insides, when we let it in, that's one part of what causes stress. Because the emotions that's behind what they're directing towards you don't have good intentions for you, because if it did, it wouldn't stress you at all. Mm-hmm. But since you feel those emotions coming to you, it agitates you. It makes you want to like, you know, it bounds you up. So again, I'm gonna say it as plain as I can. We have to learn how to not allow those things that we see as being the greatest influence in our life have no more influence. That's where the lists come in. Because as we begin to go through our encounters, we begin to gather energy back that's been spent. And as we gather that energy back, that energy gives us the strength to overcome a whole lot of the things that we were succumbing to. Why? Because of the idea of who these individuals are.
Okay.
And I know for myself, I live by a list. So if I'm not checking it off, it's not happening. So I remember our last session, just being able to calm myself. It's very, very rare that I could just say, okay, I'm doing nothing. Mm-hmm. I almost feel like I'm not productive.
Mm-hmm.
So just being able, like you were, saying the last time, just to be, it's okay to do nothing.
Mm-hmm.
It is okay to do nothing. I don't know where we get this idea that we always got to be doing something. Because when we're doing nothing, we're doing a whole lot.
Mm-hmm.
So with that, love y'all. Till
Thank you
Tuesday.
so much.
And y'all gonna come by?
Yeah, we're going to
I will be back.
Hey, pleasure, my brother.